Alright, today we're testing out the Lanyard Snow Skate. This thing is super
Hello. You're getting right in. Hello, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say hi before I drop this for a minute. Yeah. Today is Thursday. Dawn. Welcome, everybody. It's your boy Blaqksheep. We're gonna put something on the side real quick. I want to listen to the best.
Motorcycles from
Hey.
worst to best.
Yeah.
Because somewhere along the way, motorcycle manufacturers asked, why should huge power and massive torque be limited to just superbikes? The Hypernaked is for the speed freak who is done pretending. They want unlimited torque, a handlebar, and no wind protection. It's a simple formula, and we love them here at Yami Noob. We're ranking these bikes based on one premise. What's the best Hypernaked? Value, practicality, usability, it's not relevant for today. That's not what the category is about. Let's start off with the worst of the bunch, the bike that should be a Hypernaked on paper, but comes across like the engineers ran out of cash halfway through the development process. Kicking things off at the bottom of the list, we have the Honda CB1000 Hornets. Now, before the Honda loyalists start drafting their manifestos, let me explain. The Hornet is not a bad motorcycle at all, but that's kind of the problem. In typical Honda fashion, it's just too average, too rational. The Hypernaked motorcycle is supposed to be excessive, dramatic, and slightly irresponsible. The Hornet shows up to the class kind of unsure if it can compete. Mechanically, the Hornet pulls from Honda's incredibly deep parts bin. It uses a 999cc inline 4 derived from an old Fireblade architecture. It's tuned for usable street power rather than unhinged chaos. And by usable power, Honda went very conservative. In the US, this bike only makes 130 horsepower. And yeah, you gotta flash it and do all that, but come on, bone stock, that's 600 power, baby. Yeah, the bike feels smooth and functional, very Honda, but it works as intended and fails to deliver goosebumps or butterflies the way you need a Hypernaked 2. The rest of the package follows suit, from the frame to the electronics. It's fine, it's competent, but far from cutting edge. You can tell it was designed to meet a certain price point, which, to be fair, it's very competitively priced at $11,000 bucks. But value is of little to no consideration today. We're not trying to find the best bang for buck. The category is full of motorcycles trying to rip your arms off, and the Hornet feels pretty docile by comparison. This formula is often one of Honda's greatest strengths. Their bikes are logical, sensible, reliable, but for a Hypernaked bike, that's not what most are looking for. This bike is best for riders who demand a tried and true inline 4 in 2026 and happen to be balling on a budget. It's not for riders who want insanity, spectacle, or a more premium or bespoke package. But there are actually a few other inline 4s that find themselves near the bottom of the list today, and we are holding out hope for Honda's V3 boosted concept, but for now, they're dead last. Let's move on. Next up, we have the BMW M1000R. This is BMW finally letting their hair down and admitting that Hypernaked motorcycles are supposed to be extreme, because unlike the regular S1000R, which feels a little too polished, a little too composed, the M1000R throws caution to the wind and pumps power up to an eye-watering degree. If you thought bike talkers with their S1000RRs were hard to be around, wait until you get a load of the guys living their lives according to the BMW M doctrine. This bike borrows the engine from the Superbike, revving out to almost 15,000 RPM until it produces 205 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, officially putting this into the "why does it have handlebars" territory. BMW didn't stop with the engine though. You get full M-spec hardware like upgraded brakes, lightweight components, and big old winglets. But despite BMW throwing everything they've got at this machine, it's still a BMW. Precise, controlled, coldly calculated. It's a bike that puts engineering first and emotional response second. This is a Hypernaked for the rider who wanted an M1000RR but couldn't fully commit to the clout goblin bit. It's premium, expensive, it has serious performance chops, but it never feels quite unhinged enough for the category, or emotional enough. It's for riders who want maximum electronic reassurance and German precision. It's not for anyone chasing raw character drama or maximum excitement. Let's just move on. Next up, we have the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. Now we're gonna get into the hot take section of the video because objectively, this is one of the best motorcycles on the list. It's got a great chassis, premium components, and a fantastic 3-cylinder engine. And yet somehow, it doesn't feel totally accurate when described as a Hypernaked motorcycle. The Speed Triple uses an 1160cc inline triple making 180 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of British trifles. It's smoother and more linear than a twin, with more personality than an inline 4. It pulls hard, sounds cool, and feels properly fast just about everywhere in the rev range. And it's got the hardware to back it up too, like semi-active Öhlins suspension and Brembo stylomic calipers. Everything about this bike screams refinement. But again, that's sort of the issue. It's composed, mature, controlled. It feels more correct than dangerous. It's a Hypernaked for someone who wants elite performance in a classier, more mature package. It's immensely capable, but emotionally reserved. And while the 1160cc triple does make a wallop of power, it somehow doesn't really rev out or feel like it really should make that kind of power. It's not for riders who are looking for insanity or intimidation or pure outright brutality in their motorcycles. But if those are qualities you yearn for, stay tuned because we're about to enter the unhinged portion of the ranking. The KTM Super Duke has completely abandoned subtlety. This is not what you'd consider a sleeper or a quietly powerful motorcycle. Now, any man, woman, or child, or they, them, will get a glimpse at one of these and know exactly what it's all about. The Super Duke believes not in moderation or restraint. It almost does not believe the front wheel should remain in contact with the ground for too long a period of a time. The Super Duke uses a massive, stonking 1350cc V-twin that makes 190 horsepower and 107 foot-pounds of torque. An ungodly and absurd amount of power, truly. And unlike the short-stroke inline fours previously mentioned, the Super Duke doesn't build power smoothly or politely. It just detonates power immediately, forcing you to hold on for dear life lest the bike just shoot out from underneath you. Every throttle input feels personal. This bike makes you want to ask, KTM, who hurt you? The first-gen Super Duke was totally raw, too. No safety nets or digital nannies. That was a real man's bike. The design of the Super Duke matches the experience. Sharp angles, aggressive line, alien insect energy. It looks like something engineered to simultaneously offend and delight. But the big what if for this machine, well, it's still a KTM. The Super Duke hasn't been known to have the same issues that the smaller Dukes have had. But even the most reliable KTM doesn't compare to the least reliable Japanese bike. Hell, it's even a couple notches below the Italians nowadays. And if you think otherwise, you're just coping, and you're lying to yourself. KTM ownership will always mean there's a voice in the back of your head asking, what new and exciting warning light will I discover today? The performance is undeniable, but so is the reputation. When everything works, it's a wild ride and you won't regret it. When it doesn't, well, let's just hope you're in good standing with your local dealer, because KTM stands for Keep the Manual. This bike is for people who want maximum torque, maximum aggression, and to drink the orange Kool-Aid. It is not for owners who are risk-averse or emotionally attached to long-term reliability stats. Sorry, it is what it is. The MT-10 is a motorcycle I want to love. I want so badly in my heart to appreciate this motorcycle for all its glory, but it is just so damned ugly that I cannot bring myself to do it. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the good stuff first. This bike uses Yamaha's legendary cross-plane 998cc inline 4 from the R1. The engine is doing much of the heavy lifting with the MT-10, and why shouldn't it? It is a gem of an engine. It's tuned for more low-down punch, and this bike is amazing with about 165 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque. And look, that's not a ton of power, but it's not just about the power, it's about the character of the engine itself. Unless you're brand spanking new to this world, and if so, welcome, but if you aren't, you'll know how special the R1 engine is. Cross-plane burble and growl, it's the most V4 sounding inline 4 out there, and that is pretty sweet. I guess if you want V4 sounds but inline 4 reliability, this is your choice, but you have to live with how ugly it is. So you crack the throttle in MT-10, it immediately feels rowdy and aggressive in the way you'd expect the biggest and baddest bike in the master of torque lineage to behave. The problem is, everything just feels really old, really last generation. It has an IMU and rider aids, and the SP trim even has semi-activable and suspension, but the design just feels really last generation. The platform has been around for a while, and it shows. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is hard to ignore. Aggressive styling, a little crude in its execution, and it just doesn't feel quite as cutting edge or deliberate as some of the European competitors. But honestly, if that is permissible anywhere, it's in the hyper-naked category. Maybe that's part of the MT-10's charm. It's not here to impress with style or pizzazz. It just wants one thing, and it's disgusting. And hey, think about it this way. When you're riding it, you don't have to look at it. The MT-10 is a hyper-naked for someone who wants maximum engine personality and everyday insanity all wrapped up in a superbike frame and engine without European ownership anxiety, which makes sense. You want a ballistic Japanese four-cylinder that you can wail on day in and day out and it won't skip a beat. It's not for riders chasing premium polish, subtle styling, or a bike that will improve class, but it works as intended, semi-personal. This bike makes you want to ask, KTM? It is not for from the R1. The engine is doing much of the heavy lifting with the MT-10, and why shouldn't it? It is a gem of an engine. It's tuned for more low-down punch, and this bike is amazing with about 165 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque. And look, that's not a ton of power, but it's not just about the power, it's about the character of the engine itself. Unless you're brand spanking new to this world, and if so, welcome, but if you aren't, you'll know how special the R1 engine is. Cross-plane burble and growl, it's the most V4 sounding inline 4 out there, and that is pretty sweet. I guess if you you want V4 sounds and inline-4 reliability, this is your choice. You have to live with how ugly it is. So you crack the throttle in MT10, and it immediately feels rowdy and aggressive, and the way you'd expect the biggest and baddest bike and the master of torque lineage to behave. The problem is, everything just feels really old, really last generation. It has an IMU and rider aids, and the SP trim even has semi-active and suspension, but the design just feels really last generation. The platform's been around for a while, and it shows. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is hard to ignore. Aggressive styling, a little crude in its execution, and it just doesn't feel quite as cutting edge or deliberate as some of the European competitors. But honestly, if that is permissible anywhere, it's in the hyper-naked category. Maybe that's part of the MT10's charm. It's not here to impress with style or pizzazz. It just wants one thing, and it's disgusting. And hey, think about it this way. When you're riding it, you don't have to look at it. The MT10 is a hyper-naked for someone who wants maximum engine personality and everyday insanity all wrapped up in a superbike frame and engine without European ownership anxiety, which makes sense. You want a ballistic Japanese four-cylinder that you can wail on day in and day out, and it won't skip a beat. It's not for riders chasing premium polish, subtle styling, or a bike that wants huge clout or social standing. If you ride an MT10, everyone knows where your priorities lie, and it ain't sexy. And I say this nearly every year. Yamaha, make an XSR 1000 based on the MT10, and you will print money. You hear me? Print money! All right, now we're at the part of the list where things are going to start to get dangerous for both your physical health and your wallet. It's fair to say Kawasaki's cocaine budget must have been huge in the years leading up to the launch of the ZH2, because nothing else really explains why this motorcycle even came to existence. The ZH2 takes a perfectly fine, likely powerful 998cc inline-4, bolts a supercharger to it, and somehow they're allowed to legally sell it. If you've seen the damage someone can do with a Dodge Hellcat at a late-night takeover, the potential horrific outcome for supercharged motorcycles are even greater. Now, because this is a centrifugal supercharger, there's no turbo lag, just immediate forced induction. It's like 197 horsepower, and more importantly, 101 foot-pounds of torque. While those numbers are impressive in and of themselves, it doesn't tell the whole story. The supercharger really makes this bike special. Boost is built instantly, and acceleration is relentless. It feels and sounds unlike any other motorcycle ever done. And it does come with straight up. Feel that weight at me. Kind of has this typical Hayabusa size and presence about it. Compared to sharper European motorcycles, it takes a lot more effort to hustle through a corner. It's not exactly a willing game. It's a naked motorcycle from the ground up, so there's no scar frame on there contributing to razor-sharp handling for tracking and command. It's less a scalpel and more of a handle. But look, the hand grenade has its uses too. You're not going to lob a scalpel through a window and expect results, right? But sometimes the ZH2 feels like a little bit even in this category. Power is addictive, it's also kind of exhausting. That being said, this is best for riders who want to ride the most absolute engineering flex of the 21st century. For those who want acceleration that feels borderline illegal all the time. It's not for riders who want razor-sharp handling or subtlety. But God almighty, you folks know I love me a ZH2. What a ride. The second best motorcycle on the ranking today is none other than the Aprilia Tuono V4.
The number one is gonna be Ducati. The number one is gonna be Ducati.
Hyper nakeds from the ground up. Tuono is born from a superbike. That means you've got poise and handling that is often missing from the category. But let's be clear, you're not really sacrificing anything else to get that. This bike uses a 1099cc V4 that makes 180 horsepower and 86 foot-pounds of torque. And it sounds absolutely incredible. The engine is torquey, linear, and perfectly aggressive. It is the easiest riding 180 horsepower you'll ever experience. The Tuono V4 Factory, the very unit we've got right here next to me, is the current giveaway bike on YannyNoob.co. Hit the link down below to find out how you can get entered, because you're not going to want to miss it. This bike's incredible. This thing has semi-active Olin suspension, Brembo calipers, and the APRC tech package that has nearly every race-derived safety system under the sun. The 210 V4 is a totally complete package. The half fairing offers wind protection, usually absent in this category, awesome handling that comes from the frame and chassis, and a maturity that comes from the gradual and incremental evolution this bike has seen over the last 15 years. And while you can see the value from this, it's also one of the things that keeps the Aprilia from the #1 spot. Because of its age, it's a little bit heavy and a little less cutting edge than something you'd expect to be the best.
The #1's gotta be the same bike I have.
That want a hyper naked that has clear superbike.
I have the best superbike.
The best soundtracks in motorcycling. It's
I
not for someone
best
chasing
naked
the
bike.
latest and greatest, most insane expression. One bike left. If you're in the know, you probably know what's coming. And at the coveted #1 spot,
coveted
the king of the
#1
castle,
spot.
best
The king of the
motorcycle
castle,
on
king
the
of the
list
castle.
today, well, it's none other than the Ducati Street Fighter V4S. Why would I pick anything else? This bike is a Panigale V4,
Yeah.
handlebar, fairing, not be on the list. The latest model is built on the 7th generation Ducati Superbike, and it's got the insane widescreen display now, and the whole thing is just absolutely amazing. Street Fighter is born of racing pedigree. It has the same Vesna Sonichi Stradale V4 engine that's good for 305 horsepower and 88 foot-pounds of torque. It revs out to over 15,000 RPM. The power is amazing and explosive, but unbelievably controlled thanks to Ducati's electronic suite. And look, you may not believe me, but the new Ducati stuff, it's better than everything else on the market. I've sampled them all. Just trust me, okay? Just trust me. These modern Ducatis seriously feel like they're on rails when you whip the throttle open, exiting a corner. The S version has the semi-active roller suspension as well.
No.
The magic of the Street Fighter
The
is that it
SP
gives average
version's better.
riders access to performance that should realistically require professional credentials. Because like a guy like me, track day dude, former racer, I jump on a new Ducati product, I feel like a superstar. Ducati has worked some magic where mere mortals can ride it successfully. In true Ducati fashion, everything on this bike feels special and intentional. No gimmicks, just pure distilled motorsport performance. And if that does not appeal to you, I cannot help you. You're a lost cause. This motorcycle is best for experienced riders who want the best hyper naked in the market. It's not for anyone who's too much of a limp-wristed nerd to understand or appreciate it. And that's the ranking. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Remember, we have an Aprilia 200 V4 factory up for grabs on yaminu.co. That's one that I'm going to be very, very sad to see leave here at the shop. Head over to the website and learn more about becoming a member and gaining automatic entries. And, oh yeah, we're also giving away a Porsche. Seriously. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you later.
After last night's strikes, nobody really knows who's running Iran.
Yeah, guys, I do want to start with some breaking news here. A senior Israeli official telling Fox News that Ismail Khatib, the intelligence minister of Iran, was targeted in a precision strike overnight. Khatib was responsible for supporting Iran's global network of infiltrators, of sleeper cells, to threaten countries like the United States and others around the world. This comes as we are tracking developments out of Israel, where overnight the Iranians launched more cluster munitions at the civilian population here in Ramat Gan, just on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. And another military official telling Fox News overnight it will take a few more weeks for the ballistic missile threat to be neutralized. The Israelis not just looking to the incoming fire from the east, but also looking north to the Lebanese capital of Beirut in the southern Dakhan neighborhood, a Hezbollah stronghold where the Israelis launched a new series of airstrikes overnight and into this morning.
So as the U.S. and Israel go after actual verified military targets, this regime that some people are still defending
What up, Elite? How you doing? Welcome. Alright, everyone, we're back. How y'all doing tonight? Or today, I should say. Wow, I'm so used to being here at night. How's the morning been? What's new, Elite? How you doing? It's good to see you. I mean, like, if it's still there, why is it still there then? If it's the same video, you see what I'm saying? If the same video is still there, why wasn't it deleted? You get my point? Oh yeah, you're not there. That'd be... You good. Yeah, so like I definitely will Yeah, well, sort of self, like, other than the, you know, obvious issues, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of people that are inside of communities. Also, like, I just gotta be honest. Not everybody is a good fit for every place that they want to hang out. And doing things repetitively to push boundaries, knowing that it's, you know, a boundary that, like, not pretty damn sure he knows there's boundaries. He's definitely been warned ample amounts of time to relax on the weirdness. You know? But, like, you know, that... Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I just feel like it should have a smoother landing than it is right now. I don't think the kids should be, like, you know, dealing with, like, I don't believe that he was fucking butt-fucking a fucking plushie, alright? Let's just be real about it. I don't think that at all. I do believe he just acts weird and does this smashing the fucking plushie into the camera thing. Like, I know he does that shit. That's weird. That is very weird. Yeah, that would probably get him banned. That wasn't the issue though, you know, so like, yeah, but you understand, at least, like, at least where, yeah. Oh, God damn, that shit, it's annoying, that's annoying. Yeah, like, you know how many times I've side-chatted him to not go too weird, you know what I mean? I side-chatted him to chill out and relax on the oddity hour, you know what I mean? Try to push him in the right direction, yeah. Yeah, no. Yep. It is lackluster. Not, yeah. They talk about everybody, but what's new? Nothing new. Mm-hmm. Alright, see ya. accidentally hitting fucking one. I mean, what is it? Yeah, one. Sprays the fucking. It sprays and whatnot. I'm just like, it's not good. That takes away from my food. Hello. How's it going? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'll see what I could do. Alright, cool, cool. Actually gives me a little bit of time to actually get there and whatnot. Sweet. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, love. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go shower in a little bit. Yeah, same here. You're very close. Super close, too. Awesome. Can't wait to see. Alright, love you too, baby. Bye. Bye. Now I'm eating you. Yay. Yeah. Welcome, welcome. If I don't just heartland in one area, try to move around the map. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's if you gotta stop relying on people that like and just not, how should I put it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that what you told him? What he say? Well, it's not like you're saying anything, other people say things. Yeah. I need one more kill before I leave. More kill before I get out. I need to kill. Oh, I killed him. Best way to be like, I need to kill and get my I need to kill done. Yep. So that was fun. Did I kill anything else before I head out? Ah, hey, you're fine. Yeah, that's weird. That is definitely fucking weird. That I have the spine of someone's vertebrae. Alright, I'll get it off now. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you.